NASCAR rules. Short track racing. I've been doing this for a while. I'm as smart as French fry and a Happy Meal, but short tracks. When you're going to build a car, if you're going to follow me on this channel and try to build a car or rescue cars and put one together from parts and buy some stuff new and some stuff old. You want to be abreast of all the rules and regulations of your local track or a track if you're traveling that you'll be racing at. Because depending on the track, they have a lot of different rules and regulations. So I'm specifically concerned about rules and regs out at Hendry County Speedway, where I run my car when it's together. And right now, I can't afford to fix the things to make it really competitive in it. I don't want to take it out there and run it around in circles and wreck it, because then I have no car. It's better to work and improve the car until I get to the point where I feel like it's mid-pack to front-pack car. And the further you're up front, most of the time on short dirt tracks, you have a little bit more of a chance of coming out of it without being totally bent the further up front you run. It's not always the case, but percentage-wise it seems to be. And you go on, most of the tracks have their rules and regulations posted on the internet. And if they have a Facebook page or if they have an internet page and the rules and regulations. But like Hendry County Speedway, it seems to me that some of the rules and regulations and things you can do and you can't do haven't been updated for a little bit of time. So what you got to do is get a copy printed out, the rules and regulations, take it to the track and get with their safety officer or their tech advisor and say, can I do this? Can I do that? Is there something that's going to change? Or tire regulations. Tires are hard to get, and seems like people that can afford them can find them once in a while and have new tires. So they're letting some people run a little bit wider tire and grooving the tires and doing whatever they have to do to the tire to make the tire competitive. You got a great car and your tires aren't up to date, up to speed. You're not going to be really that competitive, and you take a chance on upsetting or wrecking your car. I want to bring a couple things up. A lot of these rules and regulations are to level the playing field, try to keep it as close as they can to make it monetary-wise able for some of the lower funded teams to compete in NASCAR. But I'm going to call this particular video NASCAR rules. And it's not just about NASCAR rules. It's about NASCAR rules. They don't play. They put their foot down. That's it. When they make a rule or regulation, they expect it to be adhered to 100%. So anyway, if some of you are following the wheel controversy when they confiscated Penske and RFK wheels and 18-inch wheels off the new gen car, and supposedly they had wallowed out the holes for the lineup pins for when you put the wheel on the hub, and made it easier for them when they stuck the wheel on the hub to line up the wheel and get it in and get that big nut on. And NASCAR originally looked at it as the teams trying to get an unfair advantage by doing so and maybe cutting a half a second or a second, whatever, off their pit stops. But after they reviewed the situation, they talked to everybody concerned. There was a gray area of whether that was the case why they did it. They kind of, um, the teams tried to say it was a safety issue, and if you couldn't get the wheel on just right or it didn't go on right and you tightened it down, and you got a hazardous problem. Like the wheel that came off, I think it was the 21 car when he was out on the track, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, so they have a lot of things with this new gen car. Um, a lot of rules and regulations that they have to enforce, and once they have to get the gray areas out so they're more specific. So I'm going to try to go along um, as I go and redo my car. Like I said, the car was really set under a tree for a couple of years, and a lot of the things that were built into the car can be changed to make the car more competitive. So that's what I got to do, no matter how good a driver you are. If you're running a bicycle in a car race, it don't work. So we have to get things changed, and as I try to get some parts that I can update my car, I'm going to bring you along for the ride. And that's the whole reason for the race car rescue, is to get you all out there at a minimum budget to build a race car and go racing. You know, I'm going to cover some things in the future here about helmets, helmet regulations. You can't wear a football helmet to go stock car racing. Updating your seat belts, depending on the track, and sometimes you have to be 2 or 3 years old, or within 2 or 3 years, and you have to have dates and stamps on the seat belts and the window nets. And the seats are pretty much, once you got a seat, you got a seat. There's not a whole lot of regulations on the short dirt tracks of having to have full containment. And some tracks like you to have a neck brace or a Hans device, but in the really faster classes, the slower classes again are regulated or stifled by costs. Again, people can't afford a Hans device for as expensive as it is. So they do the best they can. And some tracks, knowing that, they want the car count, they want your cars there, but in turn they want you to be safe. So it's a gray area again, especially on short tracks, and what you can do, what you can't do. And I like the fact that they want everybody to have a race receiver now. It's a little thing that looks like a beeper, and you plug them into your ears, and you're out on the track. The race controller up in the tower controls the race. If they have a wreck, they holler there's a wreck in 2, go high, go low. Good safety device. I like it because I don't want to tell you how many times I've been in the middle of a wreck, and because there's so much smoke and dust and everything, you can't see, but from the tower they can see, and if they direct you around it, it saves your car. So there's a lot of little things, like one, I was at the track last week and see the guy cutting the A-pillars off the front of his roof and straightening them up. Evidently, when he won or placed in the heat race, the tech guy didn't like the position of the roof. It had a real hard slant in it and acted like a wing on a sprint car.